This is Mamuni. Thank you so much for being Amar Baba.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to discuss how to solve a double column cash book with cash and bank columns problem. So let's get started. Chalo, shuru kara jak. Please remember, cash column always represents cash account and the bank column always represents bank account. Okay? And all cash receipts are recorded on the debit side in the cash column. And all cash payments are recorded on the credit side in the cash column. Okay? And all checks received are recorded on the debit side in the bank column. And all checks paid are recorded on the credit side in the bank column. Please remember, the opening balance of cash column always shows a debit balance, but the opening balance of bank column may show a debit balance or a credit balance. If it shows a credit balance, it is known as bank overdraft. So what is bank overdraft? Let me tell you. Bank overdraft means an arrangement under which a current account holder or a bank customer who has a current account in the bank is allowed to withdraw more than the balance to his or her credit up to the specified limit. Overdraft is allowed for a short period and some interest is charged on it. So overdraft is a kind of loan given to the customers. This is a facility given to the bank customers and some interest is charged from the customers. Okay. So now let's go through the problem. So here is the problem. Cash book double column. Enter the following transactions in a double column cash book. Here is the column of date. Here is the column of transaction. Here is the amount column. So what is the first transaction? 2022 on 1st April, cash in hand 6,000, bank overdraft 10,000. Cash column has a debit balance and bank column has a credit balance. So debit balance will always be written on the debit side. We'll write to balance BD in the cash book on the debit side in the cash column 6,000. Okay. And bank overdraft is a credit balance. So we'll write in the cash book on the credit side in the bank column by balance BD 10,000 in the bank column on the credit side. Okay. So let's write on 1st April to balance BD in the cash column. How much? Cash column has a debit balance 6,000 and on 1st April by balance BD bank overdraft. So it will be written in the bank column. How much? 10,000. Bank column has a credit balance. Since the opening balance of cash column and the opening balance of bank column has been given, there is no need of journal entries. So the question of narration does not arise. Okay. So now let's see the next transaction. So the next transaction is on 5th April, received a check from Namrata and paid it into bank on the same day 5,000. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be bank account debit to Namrata account. So what is the position of bank account? Since bank account is on the debit side, Namrata account will also be on the debit side. So we'll have to write to Namrata account in the cash book on the debit side in the bank column 5,000. Okay. So let's write on 5th April to Namrata account 5,000 in the bank column. Being check received from Namrata. And moreover, bank column represents bank account. So bank account comes under personal account. According to personal account, the receiver of the benefit is debit. Here, when check is received from Namrata, bank is the receiver of check. So 5,000 will be debited. Understood? Now let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 10th April, purchase goods and paid by check 4,000. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be purchases account debit to bank. See, check is mentioned, so bank. Now always ignore goods. So purchases account debit to bank account. So what is the position of bank account? Since the bank account is on the credit side, purchases account will also be on the credit side. So we'll have to write by purchases account in the cash book on the credit side in the bank column 4,000. Okay, so let's write 10th April by purchases account 4,000 in the bank column. Being goods purchased and paid check. And moreover, bank column represents bank account. So bank comes under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. So here, when goods are purchased, check is paid. So bank is the giver of check. So bank is the giver of the benefit. Okay, so 4,000 will be credited. Understood? So now let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 12th April, sold goods for cash 20,000. So what is the journal entry? The journal entry will be cash account debit to sales account 20,000. So what is the position of cash account? Since cash account is on the debit side, sales account will also be on the debit side. So we'll have to write to sales account in the cash book on the debit side in the cash column 20,000. Okay, and always remember we only have to look at the position of two accounts. What are the accounts? Cash account and bank account. Why not other accounts? Because there is no column for other accounts. There are only columns for cash account and bank account. So we'll only look at the position of cash account and bank account and nothing else. Okay, so let's write 12th April to sales account 20,000 in the cash column because goods sold for cash. Being goods sold for cash. And moreover, cash column represents cash account. So here cash comes under real account. According to real account, what comes in is debit. So here when goods are sold, cash comes into the business. So 20,000 will be debited. Understood? Now let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 16th April, cash deposited into bank 3,000. So what is this? Cash deposited into bank. This is a contra entry. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be bank account debit to cash account. So this is a contra entry. Contra entry means opposite. I have already made a video on contra. If you are really interested, you can watch my video titled Contra Entries. I have explained contra entries in detail with journal entries. There are only two contra entries. Okay, so I have explained everything about contra entries in detail in that video. If you are really interested about contra entries, please check it out. Okay, so what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be bank account debit to cash account. Please remember there are two types of contra entries, and the contra entry is a transaction which involves both cash and bank. Both debit aspect and credit aspect of a transaction get reflected in a cash book. Okay, so contra entries মানে কি debit side একটা entry হবে, credit side একটা entry হবে, and there are only two contra entries. And please remember, contra entries arise in a double column cash book and a triple column cash book where there is a bank column and a cash column together. In a single column cash book, contra entries do not appear. Why? Because there is no bank column or cash column together. There is only a cash column. Understood? Even in a double column cash book with bank account and discount column, there will be no contra entries since cash column and bank columns are not together. Even in a double column cash book with cash column and discount column, there will be no contra entries because there are no cash column and bank column. Okay, যেখানে cash column আর bank column একসাথে আছে সেখানেই contra entries হয়, যেখানে cash column আর bank column একসাথে নেই সেখানে contra entries হয় না. There are three types of double column cash book. One is cash column and discount column. Number 2 is bank column and discount column. Number 3 is cash column and bank column. Number 1 cash column and discount column এ contra entry appear করে না because ওখানে cash column আছে কিন্তু bank column নেই। যেখানে cash column and bank column আছে সেখানে contra entry হয় because it affects both the cash column as well as the bank column. যেখানে cash column আছে bank column আছে সেখানে দুটো এন্ট্রি হয়, আদারওয়াইজ হয় না। ফর এক্সাম্পল ডাবল কলাম ক্যাশ বুক যেখানে ব্যাঙ্ক কলাম আছে ডিসকাউন্ট কলামও আছে সেখানেও কন্ট্রা এন্ট্রি হয় না বিকজ দের ইজ অনলি ব্যাঙ্ক কলাম। ক্যাশ কলাম ব্যাঙ্ক কলাম একসাথে থাকতে হবে, সেই জন্য হয় না। ডাবল কলাম ক্যাশ বুক উইথ ক্যাশ কলাম অ্যান্ড ব্যাঙ্ক কলামস contra entries will appear because the cash column and the bank column are together. Okay. Cash deposited into bank. The journal entry will be bank account debit to cash account. So, আমাদের দুটোর পজিশনই দেখতে হবে. We have to look at the position of bank account as well as the position of cash account. Why? Because we are preparing double column cash book with cash and bank columns. So, we'll have to look at the position of both the accounts. What is the position of bank account? Since bank account is on the debit side, we'll have to write cash account on the debit side in the cash book, in the cash column. How much? 3,000. So let's write. On 16th April to cash account. Which column we are going to record 3,000? Obviously in the bank column. Why? Because right now we are looking at the position of bank account. So what is the position of bank account? Since bank account is on the debit side, cash account will also be on the debit side. So we'll have to write 3,000 in the bank column. And moreover, তুমি যদি ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট লেখো তুমি ক্যাশ কলামে লিখতে পারো না। দিস ইজ নট দ্য রুল। তুমি যদি অলওয়েজ এখানে ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট লেখো অলওয়েজ তোমাকে ব্যাঙ্ক কলামে লিখতে হবে। অলওয়েজ রিমেম্বার দিস, তাহলে ভুল হবে না। যদি তুমি এখানে ব্যাঙ্ক অ্যাকাউন্ট লেখো তাহলে তোমাকে ক্যাশ কলামে লিখতে হবে। আন্ডারস্টুড? অপোজিটে লিখতে হবে। যদি তুমি ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট লেখো তোমাকে ব্যাঙ্ক কলামে লিখতে হবে, তুমি যদি এখানে ব্যাঙ্ক অ্যাকাউন্ট লেখো তোমাকে ক্যাশ কলামে লিখতে হবে। আন্ডারস্টুড? হোয়াট ইজ দ্য এন্ট্রি? সি bank account debit to cash account. What is the amount? 3,000. 3,000. This is what? This is contra entry. এটা একটা contra entry. একবার ডেবিট কলামে হলো এন্ট্রি, আবার ক্রেডিট কলামে হবে। আমরা এখন কার পয়েন্ট অফ ভিউ থেকে দেখছি, কার পজিশন? আমরা ব্যাংকের পজিশন থেকে দেখলাম। ব্যাংকের পজিশন থেকে কি দেখলাম? সিন্স ব্যাংক ইজ অন দ্য ডেবিট সাইড, ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট উইল অলসো বি অন দ্য ডেবিট সাইড। তাই আমি কি লিখলাম? টু ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট অন দ্য ডেবিট সাইড। কার কলমে হলো? বিকজ আমরা ব্যাংকের পজিশন দেখছি তাই 3,000 ব্যাংকে হলো। আর তাছাড়াও আরেকটা রুল আছে ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্টের বইতে, ক্যাশ কলমে হয় না। সো উইল হ্যাভ, যখন তুমি টু ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট লিখবে ক্যাশ কলমে লিখতে পারবে না। সো অলওয়েজ মনে রাখবে, তোমার ভুল হবে না। তাহলে তুমি যদি ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট লেখো তুমি ব্যাঙ্ক কলমে লিখবে, আর তুমি যদি টু ব্যাঙ্ক অ্যাকাউন্ট লেখো তাহলে তুমি ক্যাশ কলমে লিখবে। অলওয়েজ টু ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট লিখে ক্যাশ কলমে লেখা যায় না, অলওয়েজ অপোজিটে লিখতে হয়। আন্ডারস্টুড? ইজ when cash is deposited into the bank, bank balance is increased by 3,000 and cash balance is decreased or reduced by 3,000. Okay? Let me write down the narration. Being cash deposited into bank. And please remember, contra entries are always denoted by writing the letter C in the LF column or ledger folio column on both sides of the cash book. Contra entry debit side hobe, credit side hobe. So we'll have to write C in the ledger folio column. Okay? Only there are two contra entries, bank account to cash account or cash account to bank account. যদি bank account to capital account হতো তাহলে contra না, or ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট টু ক্যাপিটাল অ্যাকাউন্ট হতো তাহলে কন্ট্রা নয়। ব্যাঙ্ক অ্যাকাউন্ট টু ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট আর ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট টু ব্যাঙ্ক অ্যাকাউন্ট, এই দুটোই কন্ট্রা এন্ট্রিজ, এছাড়া কিছু নেই। ওকে, নাও উইল সি ফ্রম দ্য পজিশন অফ ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট। হোয়াট ইজ দ্য পজিশন অফ ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট? সিন্স ক্যাশ অ্যাকাউন্ট ইজ অন দ্য ক্রেডিট সাইড, ব্যাঙ্ক অ্যাকাউন্ট উইল অলসো বি অন দ্য ক্রেডিট সাইড। সো উইল হ্যাভ টু রাইট বাই ব্যাঙ্ক অ্যাকাউন্ট in the cash book on the credit side in the cash column 3,000. Okay, so let's write 16th April by bank account. How much? 3,000. See, we have written bank, so we can't write 3,000 in the bank column. we'll always have to write here. Always remember, তোমাদের জন্য আমি easy করে দিলাম, it's the easiest method. By bank account, amount will always be in the opposite account, not in the bank column. Okay? যদি তুমি bank account লিখো, তুমি bank column এ লিখতে পারবে না। তুমি কোথায় লিখবে? তুমি cash column এ লিখবে। Understood? Now you must be wondering, I've written bank account. Now where to record 3000? In the cash column or the bank column? Always remember, if you have written by bank account, you cannot write 3000 in the bank account. If you have written by bank account, you'll have to write 3000 in the cash column. Always. Okay? Even if you don't know the logic. You have to write, even if you don't understand, if you don't know the logic, you'll always have to write 3000 in the cash column. Since we have written two cash account, we have written 3000 in the bank column and not in the cash column. Understood? Even you don't understand the contra entry. If you write two cash account, you can't write the amount in the cash column. You have to write in the bank account. Understood? If you want to know the logic, this is very easy. Bank column represents bank account and bank account comes under personal account. According to personal account, the receiver of the benefit is debit. Here, when cash is deposited into the bank, bank is the receiver of cash. So, bank will be debited. Understood? Bank is the receiver of cash. So, 3000 will be debited. Moreover, cash column represents cash account. So, cash account comes under real account. According to real account, what goes out is credit. Here, when cash is deposited into the bank, cash goes out from the business. So, cash account will be credited. So, 3000 cash balance is reduced. So, 3000 will be credited. Here, 3000 will be debited because bank balance is increased. Here, 3000 will be credited because cash balance is reduced. Okay? So, we'll write being cash deposited into bank. And we'll have to write C. C stands for contra. So, contra entries are always denoted by writing the letter C in LF or ledger folio column. Okay? And always remember, we do not have to prepare cash account or bank account in the ledger accounts because cash book is a journal as well as a ledger. Okay? Now let's see the next transaction. Next transaction is on 20th April, purchase goods for cash 15,000. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be purchases account debit to cash account 15,000. Ignore goods. Instead of goods, write purchases account because goods are meant for resale. So what is the position of cash account? Since cash account is on the credit side, purchases account will also be on the credit side. So we'll have to write by purchases account in the cash book on the credit side in the cash column 15,000. Okay? So let's write. On 20th April, by purchases account 15,000 in the cash column because goods purchased for cash. Being goods purchased for cash. Moreover, cash column represents cash account. Cash account comes under real account. According to real account, what goes out is credit. Here, when goods are purchased, cash goes out from the business. So, 15,000 will be credited. Okay. Now, let's see the next transaction. The next transaction is on 25th April, paid wages 2,000. Paid wages means in cash. So, what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be wages account debit to cash account. So, what is the position of cash account? Since cash account is on the credit side, wages account will be on the credit side also. So, we'll have to write by wages account in the cash book on the credit side in the cash column 2,000. Okay? So, let's write 25th April, by wages account 2,000 being wages paid. Okay? And moreover, cash column represents cash account. And cash account comes under real account. According to real account, what goes out is credit. Here, when wages is paid, cash goes out from the business. So, 2,000 will be credited. Understood? Now, let's see the last transaction. The last transaction is on 30th April, bank has charged for interest on overdraft 1,000. Remember, Bank has given this facility, bank overdraft 10,000. So bank is charging on 10,000 some interest, that is 1,000. Okay, bank overdraft dile, bank always interest charge kore. So what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be interest account debit to bank account. Interest is an expense charged by the bank. So the journal entry will be interest account debit to bank account. So what is the position of bank account? Since bank account is on the credit side, interest account will also be on the credit side. So we'll have to write by interest account in the cash book on the credit side in the bank column 1,000. Okay, so let's write. On 30th April, by interest account in the bank column 1,000 being interest charged by bank. And moreover, bank column represents bank account and bank account comes under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. Interest on overdraft has been paid by bank by deducting money from the bank. So bank is the giver of the benefit. Okay, so 1,000 will be credited. Okay, now let's calculate the total of cash column on the debit side and the total of cash column on the credit side. The total of cash column on the debit side is 26,000 and the total of cash column on the credit side is 20,000. So we'll have to write the amount whichever is bigger. Since the total of debit column is bigger than the total of credit column, we'll have to write 26,000 on both the sides. This is the rule. So what is the total of cash column on the credit side? 20,000. The total of cash column on the debit side is 26,000 and the total of cash column on the credit side is 20,000. So there is a shortfall on the credit side. Have to balance it. So we have to write the last in the month of April, 30th April. By balance CD. How much? 26,000 minus 20,000, 6,000. This is the closing cash, 6,000. Okay. So now let's calculate the total of bank column on the debit side and the total of bank column on the credit side. Okay. Let's do it. So the total of bank column on the debit side is 8,000 and the total of bank column on the credit side is 15,000. So we'll have to write the bigger total. Which one is bigger? The credit side, 15,000. This is the rule. And here also 15,000. So there is a shortfall on the debit side in the bank column. So we'll have to balance it because the cash book is not balanced. Write to balance CD. How much? The total of debit column is 8,000 and the total of credit column is 15,000. So deduct 8,000 from 15,000. How much you'll get? 7,000. So 7,000 is the closing cash at bank. Okay. So 7,000 is the closing cash at bank. Rather it's a overdraft because it's a credit balance. The date will be the last day in the month of April, 30th April. So this Y balance CD 6,000 will be brought forward beneath the debit total and we'll write to balance BD 6,000 since the business is not closed. It will continue. This closing cash in the month of April will be the opening cash for the month of May. Okay, so let's write down to balance BD 6,000 the next day, 1st May. Okay, and this credit balance or closing cash at bank will be brought forward beneath the credit total by balance BD. This is the credit balance. That means in the month of May also this will be a overdraft, 7,000. So now the double column cash book is balanced. I hope you understood. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your precious time. I sincerely hope this was helpful. And before I fade out, please remember, when you focus on being a blessing to others, you will always be blessed more. Bye-bye. Take care. Stay safe and stay blessed always.